question comes from Tom Seymour. He says the first sentence of a recent Financial Times article read, Charlie Munger has warned of a brewing storm in the U.S. commercial property market, with American banks full of what he said were bad loans as property prices fall. Please elaborate on what's going on in commercial real estate. How bad will the losses be, and what sectors or geographies look particularly bad? I'll just add an addendum from another viewer who wrote in and wanted to know if Berkshire would be more active in commercial real estate as a result.
Well, Berkshire's never been very active in commercial real estate. It works better for taxable investors than it does for corporations taxed the way Berkshire is. So I don't anticipate huge effects on Berkshire. But I do think that the hollowing out of the downtowns in the United States and elsewhere in the world is going to be quite significant and quite unpleasant. I think the country will get through it all right, but as they say, it will often involve a different set of owners.
Yeah, and the buildings don't go away, but
the owners do.
And then within a couple months, change their mind and start hiking rates. We think we're going to see the same thing this time. They're going to tell us that they're going to keep rates higher for longer until inflation is at their target. But the magnitude of the slowdown we're seeing across the board tells us that we'll probably still be hitting recession around year end. So they'll be cutting rates by then. So I'm still incredibly comfortable that we'll see 3% across the curve.
Do you think high for longer is just a bad call, or do you think they're just misleading us that that's what they want to signal currently?
I think it's what they have to signal, because they were already wrong once on inflation with the promise of transitory. They can't be wrong again. They're telling us that they're prioritizing inflation over growth, and that means, like the ECB, you're willing to make the economy a casualty. They're telling us that they're prioritizing inflation over growth, and that means, like the ECB, you're willing to make the economy a casualty.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher, and you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Support this great content by hitting the Cash App and by joining the Patreon.
And guys, we had Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger speak a while ago about commercial property, all the bad loans. And where I'm at is like a ghost town when it comes to commercial property. And it's about to hit single family homes. We seeing all the layoffs, guys. It's all going to trickle down. Remember, this economy is like a knitted shirt. Only thing you have to do is pull one strand and the whole shirt is going to fall to pieces. Guys, when it comes to these small and medium-sized banks, they fund these small businesses. And then we know small businesses fund America. And we're seeing that collapse. And we know the government and the Fed are going to let a lot of people fall by the wayside. And then they're going to run in with UBI, Universal Basic Income, where they airdrop that free money. You have 3 to 6 months to spend it or poof, it's gone. Remember, guys, they cause the problem, wait for the reaction, and run in with the solution. We know the Fed is sacrificing this economy based on 2% inflation. That's why they keep saying it, 2%, 2%, because they know by getting back to that 2%, they're going to crumble this economy. This legacy market is over, so the fourth industrial revolution can rise. And guys, this is globally, not just in the West. And then, guys, we have Kathy Woods talking about driverless cars. And we all know she's invested in the fourth industrial revolution, this digital transformation, where the robots, algorithms, and drones take over the economy, and all her money is invested in that. And then, guys, what does she say? Take the human out in order to provide the safety. Let AI take that person home is more safer. Yes, you heard that correct. And guys, we have Mike Pence coming in, sliding us the truth. You know, politicians, they get in and every now and then, they're going to tell you the truth in order to play that Hegelian dialectic. And boy, did he bring us the truth. Yes, the United States funded China the whole time, but then he slid in that this auto strike is going to push these jobs to China. And we already know Tesla and Elon Musk has that deal in China. He's getting his subsidies in China. And guys, we know that main event is coming. And again, guys, we have cyber attacks that are halting a lot of big business. But y'all guys know what I think about these hacks. We always know they're inside jobs. But guys, we're getting a lot of them. So we know something big is about to happen. And we have the government talking about shutting down again. And guys, we know this is all a movie. We're going to sit back, get our popcorn, and let it play out. Because remember, your life is an illusion, and TV is your reality. Get yourself in position, because you do not want to get caught on the wrong side of history. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Tesla owners would own their cars and then they would go out and earn them money during the day by driving people around. That also seems sort of optimistic in terms of the uptake of that, Kathy. So, you know, for 2/3 of the valuation, do you feel like that there's risk even around the bear case at all with the 2/3?
Well, actually, the risks are going down because regulators are very data driven. And what regulators have been experiencing, especially in the transportation sector, is that the number of auto deaths in the United States has gone up during the past 5 to 10 years from 30,000 to 45,000 after decades of falling thanks to auto safety measures. So the National Highway and Transportation Safety Board and other transportation authorities want to turn that trend back down. Why has it happened? A lot of it is because of texting, and therefore a disproportionate number of young people are dying in auto accidents. So the data supports what Tesla is doing. 80 to 90% of all accidents on the roads are caused by human error. If you take the human being out of the equation and use AI to get people from point A to point B as safely, as quickly as possible, I think the authorities, the regulators, are going to be persuaded by the data. In fact, they already have been in terms of the fatalities in Tesla's cars. They examine them. They say, not Tesla's fault for the most part. And oh, by the way, people driving in Tesla cars are 40% plus safer with autopilot and FSD than in other cars.
Uber, Bitcoin, self-driving cars. Combine those three together, and you have the self-owning taxi. A car that is a corporation that owns itself, pays for the car lease, the car insurance, and the gasoline from the revenues it makes, giving passengers a ride, and there's not a single human involved in that matter.
I mean, China has used its ability to grow its economy in many ways at the expense of the United States workers, and become more authoritarian along the way. So we changed the national consensus on China, Joe, during our administration. We not only built up our military, but yesterday I said we've got to be spending 3.5% of GDP on our military. We got to modernize our fleet. We got to have a 355 ship Navy. Everything starts with American strength, especially in the Asia Pacific. But then beyond that, I think we need to move forward with a policy of continuing to limit access to this economy to China and other authoritarian regimes, even while we expand free trade with free nations. I mean, the truth is we have literally subsidized growth in China. I mean, the green agenda here in the United States by the Biden administration is literally subsidizing China, that makes most of the electric batteries. I mean, I got to tell you, you guys have talked a lot about the UAW strike underway, and there's a lot of rhetoric around it. But I know the automotive industry. I was governor of Indiana, Joe. I know Sean Fain. He's from Kokomo of Indiana, the head of the UAW. I guarantee you that one of the things that's driving that strike is that Bidenomics and their green energy electric vehicle agenda is good for Beijing and bad for Detroit, and American auto workers know it.
Well, I can tell you what happened. This is a group that's been exceptionally active. They've compromised over 100 organizations in the last year. We get inbound calls from victims all the time. And what happened is basically social engineering. You know, help desks want to help people. And when they do that, these folks are calling in and they're doing ruses and guises and getting passwords reset so they can access networks. And they're also doing something called SIM swapping, where they get one-time passwords texted to their phone. So these folks are, meaning the attackers, are very clever. They're very good at what they do. And quite frankly, they're able to break in because they're breaking human trust. They're getting people to trust them.
So that concerns me on a lot of levels. First of all, that I'll probably never be able to get help from the help desk again. But from a more broad company perspective, is this a situation where MGM and Caesars had bad security, where Clorox had bad security, or is this simply a situation of there, but for the grace of God, go every other company?
Well, I can tell you this group's breaking in. They are successful. So you can look at the victim companies and say, could they have done more? Every single company could always do more security, but it's hard to pitch a perfect game every single day. We're not used to threat actors that are this good at social engineering. And I can tell you right now, it is going to change the way help desks work. It's changed the way our help desk works. You have to start using FaceTime or video confirmation of who you're talking to so you can see the face, understand the person, and say, yes, I can reset that password. That really is Kevin Mandy at the other end of the phone. So unfortunately, that's kind of the state of how things are going. And we're also going to have to change using SMS or text messaging as a multi-factor to our authentication.
Handicap it for us. What is the chance that we actually get a government shutdown? What's the chance we avert one?
80% that we're going to get one, I would say, if not more. Listen, the two sides are really dug in. McCarthy has effectively no ability to maneuver here. The big problem is conservatives, Andrew, don't want to pass a short-term government funding bill to allow more time to get things done. They don't want to pass individual spending bills because they say the level is too high, the spending level, even though McCarthy has lowered it significantly. And they don't want to wrap all the individual ones together because they say that that's bad governing. So McCarthy has very little space to maneuver. And remember, I mean, this is a September 30th story. Government shuts down at the end of this month. And then they have to find a way to fund the government for the year. So I am extremely pessimistic. There's going to be some sort of deal that comes together. And to be honest with you, unlike other shutdowns we've seen back in 2013 and in 2018, 2019, there is no unifying thing that Republicans want that would get them out of a shutdown. So I'm pretty bearish, to be honest.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.